Welcome to Sign Language Social Interveka, where we say with sign language we are equal. And today I really want to appreciate you for choosing to come back to our channel and also to watch this video. And I believe that you are going to share it with your friends, and the communication that we make is going to reach out to many people through you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Today I want to talk something concerning children who are deaf. And it's the hope of every parent and every mother, every father, that their newborn baby, their newborn son or girl, when they come to this world, that they are going to be normal in every aspect. They're going to be able to reason well. They're going to be bright in their minds. They're going to see well. They don't have a problem in their eyes. They hope that the children will be able to walk. They hope that these children will be able to hear. But things do happen, and a child may be born when they are not able to hear. And when somebody is born deaf, people may not be able to acquire speech. We usually acquire speech at the age of 1 to 3 years, about that age. And after that, if you're not able to hear, then you may not be able to use speech. Some people wonder, why do the deaf people not talk? Others wonder, what is the relationship between hearing and talking? Is it a problem with the voice, or is it a problem with the ears? Is it an issue with the ears hearing, or why won't they talk? And I sometimes ask students what they think. Why does the deaf person not talk? And I usually ask, do the deaf people have a voice? I want to ask you the same question. Do you think a deaf child or a deaf person has a voice? And the truth is this, that they do have a voice. But how to use the voice is what they do not know. Anyway, you know how to talk because you heard other people speaking. And through hearing, you imitated or you copied what other people were saying. I think it's a complicated issue. Maybe some people would explain it better, that you acquire speech by hearing other people speak. The same for language. You speak English because where you are, people are speaking English and you can hear it. You speak your native language because people around you are speaking the native language, and you can be able to hear, and through hearing, you understand it and you use it. So, ideally, the deaf people, they may not be able to talk, not that they don't have a voice, but because they don't know how to use that voice. If they were hearing like you do, they would still be talking. They would still be talking. They would not be silent. And when a child is born, sometimes becomes a shocker to the parents when they realize that their child is not able to hear, and hence they cannot be able to talk. Some will go and think it's something, maybe sickness, or some cultures would say there's something that you need to do or you are required to do and you've not done. There is a goat you're supposed to take to your grandfather or grandmother or your parent, and you did not take that goat. Others would say that the name you've given that child, you've named them after a person who is not happy with you, and therefore the child has a problem. He cannot talk. You go to the hospital, some assessments are done, and sometimes along the way, you are told that your child cannot be able to hear. Your child has a hearing disability. Your child is deaf. And definitely, that's not good news. Definitely, that's heartbreaking. And many people will go down and fall into denial. And denial is a way for us, emotionally or psychologically, to cope with issues that are stressing us. So the first thing that comes to a parent, when they are told that their children are deaf, whatever comes to their mind is denial. My child cannot be deaf. My beautiful girl cannot be deaf. This handsome young boy cannot be deaf. And you deny that. You go to the hospital, and some may be treated, others maybe they are not. You try, and I don't deny that God can do a miracle, and we keep praying and hoping that God comes through and helps your child. And sometimes through his own way, sometimes God may not show up, and so the child remains to be deaf. And I have seen in society that when people are in denial, the denial affects the life of the child. And much more in terms of socialism or social life and education. When you talk of social life, many people will choose to hide their children. The kid who has a disability, and in this case, who is deaf, when you talk to them, they're just looking at you. When you try to communicate to them, they're not responding to you. Many people would tend to hide them. They'll keep them home. They don't want to be seen. When they are going out to church, they leave them at home. When they go out, maybe to have some fun or recreation somewhere, they don't want to go with them. They feel that this kid is like a blemish in the family. They feel, we don't want this kid. We don't want to walk with him. We don't want to go with him anywhere because he's deaf. And that is denial. What happens? The child is not able to meet other children, and therefore they do not grow socially. They cannot be able to relate with other people. The other thing on education, you don't want to take your child to a deaf school because you still believe that by the time he is big, he'll be okay. It's good to hope that. But then sometimes you hope that this kid is going to be fine, and it does not happen. They are 3 years, 4 years, and many parents do take their children to the normal hearing schools. I know a friend of mine who is deaf. He tells me that he went to a hearing school from class 1, 2, 3 up to class 8. When they were given an exam, he could always be last because he was not learning. And that could bring him down emotionally. He was always feeling down because he was always last. When in class, the teachers think that he is stubborn. When they call him, maybe to ask a question or to answer a question, he is just there. He does not respond. And my friend, he was telling me that he was usually beaten in school because the teachers thought that he's a stubborn guy, an anyeta. That's the word that we use here. Bona unanyeta wewe, utajua hujui. And then he was caned for those 8 years. And when he finished class 8, he did not know anything. The problem is not the student or the people, the challenge was that he could not hear, and the parents could not accept that he was deaf, and the teachers also could not notice that this guy needed some help. So what happens? We take our children to a hearing school, and we keep hoping that they will know how to talk when they go to school. They go to class 1, 2, 3, 4, still in the hearing school. And later in life, like when they're in class 5 or class 6, when they are 10, 11, 12, 13 years, is when the parent now starts accepting and discovering that this child, as much as I hope and believe that they are going to be okay, it's like it's not working. It's like they are going to remain deaf. And at that point, they start asking, where can I take this child to school? How can I take them to school? And I want you to remember this, that this child, even if she is or he is in class 5 or 6 in a hearing school, when he goes or she goes to a deaf school, she is new, she has not been trained, and she does not have language, so she may not understand whatever is being taught. So she is not learning. When she goes to a deaf school, she will first be taught sign language, then thereafter she gets now to the normal school life. What does that mean? When she is in class 5 in a hearing school, when she goes to a deaf school, she goes to a class, maybe you've not heard of it, huh? We call it class 0. And when she goes to class 0, she is started anew, like playgroup class. She is there and she starts again, grade 1, grade 2. Out standard 1, standard 2, upwards again. You'll not be surprised to go to a deaf school and find that the class 4, class 5 pupils, I don't know whether to call them pupils or students, some of them are mature men and girls, ladies who are big in class 4. Why? Because they did not go to school at the right age. So they've been in either at home or in a hearing school. When they come to deaf school, they go back to class 1, and then they still come up again. And that's why you'll find that by the time they are doing class 8, they are men and women. They may not even be willing to go to high school. And my challenge to all of us today, as a society, as a community, is to always remember that when you find a child has a hearing challenge, when they are still young, we need to talk to each other. We need to talk to ourselves and try to cope with the issue and accept that this child is deaf. When we know they are deaf, we take them to school, deaf school, so that they start their education early in life. When they are in class 8, they are 13, 14 years. They go to high school, which is for the deaf, and thereafter, they will be good to cope with life because they can learn normally. So some may not be so much well educated because of the challenges we pose to them as hearing people. I want you to think about a deaf child or a deaf person in your community, or allowed where you are, in your church, in your gatherings, in your ward, in your hospital. There's a deaf person you know. And they have children maybe who are deaf. Or you know another person who have a deaf child. It's good that we help each other to accept that this child is deaf And she need to go to school. He need to go to school. He need to learn. Being deaf is not an omen. It's not a curse. It's not witchcraft. It's a way of life also. So don't think of going to a mganga or those traditional doctors, herbalists, and witches and sorcerers to come and maybe deliver you. If you have to do something, learn sign language. Let all of us know sign language so that when a child is born around us and we realize that this child is deaf, we try for medication, it is not working, we pray it's not working, then we can give this child an environment which is good. I know a friend who is deaf, and this friend has a wife who is deaf, and they had a child who is deaf. So by the time the kid was 3 years, he was already in school and is growing a normal life. I have also another friend who is not deaf. The father is not deaf, the mother is not deaf, but they have a son who is deaf. Then they could not accept it initially, but when he was 3-4 years there, they did struggle and accepted that this guy, his son, was actually deaf. And they came to us. And what did we tell them? We told them, the best thing you can do is learn sign language yourselves, then take this boy to a deaf school. And they did so. The mother came, we trained her. The child went to a deaf school. And when the boy was in the deaf school, by the time he was crossing for the first time and came home, he found the mother is talking the language they're using in school. And the boy is living a comfortable and a normal life. And our duty and my call for us today, can we be able to accommodate the deaf children as normal children, not as a curse, a bad omen to our families, and then we allow them to go to school at the right age. And when we do that, we shall say that with sign language, we are all equal. I challenge all of us to do so. Welcome to Sign Language Resource Center, and we are equal because we have this language.